It's just so anyway. All right. So then there's that. All right. Well, as I get here, you may be, if you're tuning in, which you aren't because there are 0 viewers right now, you may see that there is no CJ. We didn't get rid of him. He's just very busy this week. So tagged in Scott, who constantly works for free because he's a professional. Scott, what's it like being on the second show of the day with me?
Feels fun. I mean, we talk all the time anyway, so nothing really changes, you know?
No, we do. And we're hanging out this weekend.
Yep.
We're going to Vegas. We're doing all that. So if you are just joining, Dad's Bet Baseball and Football, Adam Rosenberg with me actually, as always, is Scott Reichel, just not usually on this show. But Scott and I are we're gonna do a quick little Thursday night lab, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about which 7 seed we're afraid of, if any. I don't think Scott's afraid of any of them. And then we're gonna talk about hedging a pretty large UVA ticket that we have this weekend. So let me first go to our Hall of Fame bet stuff, and I'm gonna do that now. And cool. Look at this. Boom. Oh, there it is. All right. A reminder. We do use Hall of Fame bets. We're not just hawking the product. Hall of Fame bets. You can use the QR code you see on screen. HOFapp.com. You can use code DADS. You get 25% off the first month. You get the first 7 days free. A new thing that I have been doing with it is I have been just cooking on like second half totals, pre-flop, and quarters and derivatives, and it is outstanding for this stuff. Really good for first half, first quarter kind of bets as I'm watching this Patriots game. And so I'm going to dive in on Thursday. So Scott, before I go to Thursday's game, which I don't even know if you've looked at, what is it? Detroit and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Have you thought about this game at all yet?
I'd say I thought about it, but I didn't actually take the time to deep dive it entirely. But I mean, conceptually, the Lions defense is falling apart, and I think Dak should have a good game. But we both think the Cowboys are very, very alive to win this game.
Yeah. But if you like the Cowboys, and you said this to me before, if you like the Cowboys right now, you have to take them to win the division because the Eagles are just like spiraling out, and this feels like 2023, and the Cowboys can run the table and win the division. So, oh man, Patriots defense is the first touchdown of the game. Look at that. Thought about that too. But so anyway, so we didn't have Jackson Dart to intercept. We had Drake May. We need that one. All right. So I'm going to look around. We don't like Dallas's defense. Do we like Goff maybe today on this one? What do we think? What kind of, where do you immediately go as you think about this? There's not going to be any Amon-Ra, and they love Jameson Williams. So what do you is there anything that you've been thinking about? I like to just kind of go to Hall of Fame bets, move things to like a B+ model, sort a little bit. Goff's off a terrible game. We both think the Cowboys should win this, but I don't know what that means for the game script kind of thing. Is there any players that you kind of wanted to like jump around a little bit with? I mean, Pickens should really torch this group, don't you?
I think he should. If you want to go for Pickens, I mean, he's been incredible the entire season. I'm fine with that. If you want to go for the Lions, if we think that Williams is the natural step-up option with Amon-Ra probably missing a couple of weeks, then that could be an option too. But I'm fine with going relatively chalky.
Look at this Pickens game log, dude. 168, 82, 78, 79, 144, 146, 88.
There's a reason why on all our prop shows, mostly the standalone games, I keep taking Pickens over his receiving yards because he just has 80 in every game. He's just an absolute machine. So,
dude, he's a monster.
Pickens has my blessing.
Do we want longest then?
That's fine.
Let's see what we got here. Oh, they don't have it up yet. It'll probably be 31. Let me see what we got, though. We do have anything here. We may not. Yeah, like this is also just a good reason to do it is that we're able to like look in here. So it's probably going to be around 30, I would imagine. No, wait. Yeah, or probably what? Yeah, 30. I would imagine it's going to be 30. It's gone over it every single time. So basically, we're going to be looking for 33. Like, let's assume it's 33 and a half. 33 and a half, I would still take. This dude is just a monster right here. And as I'm looking at, and they're in Detroit too. Yeah, man, he is. He's going to be able to cook this team. I think that Detroit is going to spiral out and not go to the playoffs. Yeah, we're definitely taking.
I mean, their defense is horrendous, so I don't see them getting many stops anyway.
Yeah, they couldn't even get a center. The center Rangel showed up injured because he's like, oh well, wait, you actually wanted me to play? I'm too hurt to come out of retirement and do this.
That's how you know it's a red flag. When you send in a guy to come out of retirement and he fails a physical, that's probably not a good sign for your team.
Pretty bad sign. I'm gonna look and see of the things that are up though. Let's see if there's anything that we like. Right now we're suffering from not having a ton of lines because it is early, but let me just see receiving yards and matchup grades, and I can do this, and they don't have everything up. So they don't have it all up, and it's fine. But what the trend is telling us as we looked in with Pickens is just that the dude's an absolute monster. Probably do something like Pickens 100. I'm not opposed to Pickens 100 yards or Pickens. I think Pickens' longest reception 30. I like it up to 35 to be completely fair. And if you look at the game log against Detroit, they've given up a 40. They gave up a 30, a 40. Well, the Datavian Wicks was a 30. They gave up didn't love his over. He had a 40-yard bomb there too. They had let's see, yeah, giving up a 40, a 37. This team stinks. 64 to Jamar Chase. Yeah, we're gonna be fine with
Pickens.
this.
That's fine.
We're gonna do Pickens. We're absolutely gonna do Pickens. A grade 3 hammy strain is meat off the bone. I don't know how you show up with that and you're like, yeah, I could totally play and crouch for a while. That being said, got it all. There you go. Like Hall of Fame bets. We don't have a lot of the lines up, but you kind of see where we like to hang out in there. We go to trends. We mess around. You can always DM us and say, how are you guys using this for other stuff? We use it a lot for hockey because we have handigraphs. And you can see handigraphs has hockey. Ooh, fancy. It's got all these minute stats. And then we will usually go over to Hall of Fame bets, and then we'll mess around within the hockey section because they're really good at doing gradings on which players are good for taking shots, all sorts of stuff like that. I really trust their data. So Hall of Fame bets, use code DADS, not just hawking it. So, all right, Scott, our conversation we had this morning, I'm going to give you 4 teams on both sides, and then whittle it down to the team, first of all, that you think make it. And then we could talk about whether or not you're afraid of either of these teams as 7 seeds. So AFC, Bills, Chiefs, what'd I say? Bengals,
Texans,
and Texans. Let's do that. So of those 4 teams, which do you think makes it? And I guess, are you afraid of that team at all?
Well, just to be clear, the Bengals wouldn't be the 7, right? Because they would win the division. Right?
You're right. So they would be so you're right. So then let's call it the Ravens then. Let's call it the Ravens, because if they won it, then the Ravens had 10 wins, the Ravens would be the 7.
Just saying, the Bengals' best record possible is 9-8. That's not good enough for a wild card. The Ravens can still, in theory, they'd also end up being 9-8. So we're probably only getting one AFC North team. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, we would one AFC North team.
Okay, so for the sake of this, we'll toss out the Ravens, the Bengals, and whatever, because this is the 7 seed, which doesn't really apply to this conversation. But for the actual seedings, I'm going to ask you, are we assuming that for the 1 and 2 seeds in the AFC, some order of Denver, New England? Is that what we're assuming?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, I got to work backwards. How confident are you in Denver and New England?
I like Denver. I don't like New England.
Okay. So
Denver has
a case against or for both teams.
Okay. My case against New England is going to be is absolutely going to be Drake May starting a playoff game for the first time, and a team that I still have not been impressed by. The only time that they really had to play from behind was against the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
So but the Broncos have been there before. We can say what we want about Bo Nix. We can say what we want about their offense. We still can agree that they have an elite defense, and they've played top tier competition, and they're in they are actually this year. It looks like the AFC West is a much more difficult division than the AFC East. So, I'm not ready to say that Denver comes out of everything, but Denver hosting games as a 1 seed, I think is pretty difficult for teams.
And the reason why I'm asking is because, of course, the 1 seed gets a bye, so the 2 would have to play the 7. So based on that, I'll ask you, which team do you think would hypothetically give the 2 seed the most amount of problems? If we ignore the overall opinions on these teams,
right,
which team do you think is a matchup nightmare for Denver? Which team's a matchup nightmare for New England?
Matchup nightmare for Denver is probably it's going to be a pace up team. Okay. So it's going to be the Ravens, and it's going to be not the Texans.
Once again, the Ravens won't be the 7, so it doesn't really matter.
So, I mean, I think that, well, first of all, I don't know if, I mean, it would be the 3rd time they would play the Chiefs. I think the Bills would probably not be a great matchup for Denver just because of Allen's ability to pace up.
Yes. That's kind of, that would have been my answer too. Yeah. I think that Buffalo is the team that would give Denver the most amount of problems. Kansas City, yes, division opponent, 3 meetings in a season. We get all that. We think Buffalo is better than Kansas City at this point in time. Plus, if we're being realistic about it, Kansas City's 2 games back of a playoff spot in the first place. Buffalo right now is the 7, so it's more realistic for Buffalo to get in over Kansas City anyway. I think the answer is Buffalo. Now, I think Buffalo is going to be the, I'd say, very public choice of which 7 seed or which wild card team can be the most dangerous. I think people will blindly say Josh Allen and Buffalo because you have their experience in cold weather, Josh Allen being an MVP quarterback, and they got James Cook, who's a good running back as well. My counterpoint
James Cook probably quietly having an insane year.
Yeah, he's very, very good.
Yeah.
My counterpoint on Buffalo is the McDermott part and the lack of a good receiving core.
Completely agree.
Which I do think has a certain ceiling that's there. You could also argue Buffalo now has no expectations based on where they're at in the standings, so maybe they'll surprise some people. I don't buy that. I think McDermott should have been fired a year or 2 ago, so I don't see McDermott being the type of guy that would lead a wild card team to the AFC title game. I don't see him being good enough. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
So based on that, we just eliminated Buffalo. I like Houston a lot. At least they're growing on me. The offense might not be great, and I get that the division is actually better than normal. I mean, shout out to Tennessee, who's 1-11 at the moment, but you have 3 teams that are 7-5 or 8-4. They've won 4 in a row. They've dealt with some quarterback injuries. It's been fine. Beat the Colts. I know that right now Daniel Jones can't move, but still nice win. Beat Buffalo. If we're going to talk about Buffalo, we got to mention.
Yeah, I mean, look, an 8-win team's an 8-win team. You beat them it is what it is. You know?
Yeah. So the point is, do I think Houston is ready as a dome team from Texas to go on the road and play in freezing weather?
Absolutely not.
Probably not, but the defense is good enough to keep them in the game. So when you have an elite defense like that, and you're picking a Denver game, or maybe New England as well, maybe it snows in Foxborough 20 degrees, and it's a 17-13 final, I'm giving Houston a puncher's chance, right? I mean, they can technically beat anybody if they control the actual, I'd say, script or pace of the game in itself. Now, I think the offense might not be good enough, and I think Stroud does take some brutal sacks and make some questionable decisions. The red zone play calling's a mess too, which is not ideal. But if you're asking which team I think would be extremely dangerous that people might sleep on, I'll say Houston. Do you think stylistically Houston and Denver are kind of similar?
I was about to say they're very, very similar. I think Bo Nix is I like Bo Nix a lot more. Mostly because I think he's got a better arm. I think he's a lot more accurate, and I think the fact that he runs with the ball makes him a lot more of a threat. But to your point, I think both their wide receiving, their skill position players are very similar. It's just like a bunch of 2s and 3s, you know? Yeah. And then Sutton's a body, but he didn't even do anything till the 2-minute drive. And Nico is can't stay on the field.
Yeah, Nico's injured all the time. I like Schultz. I think Schultz is a good tight end. I know Ingram had the big catch in overtime yesterday. I mean, you got Harvey as your running back now because Dobbins is out. Do you think Marks and Chubb is better than that? Like, I think you can argue
No,
that's
I think they're
comparable.
the same. I think it's all comparable.
Yeah.
It's comparable. The thing for me is like, I really, so you kind of brought it up, and then we can do this and we can kind of start to move to NFC. It's basically comes down to who do you think has a better red zone offense? And they're comparable, but I like.
I mean, Houston's red zone offense I can't stand.
It's terrible.
Which I've mentioned many times before.
And I would say it's Denver, but it's also like one of those reasons why I like the Bills' red zone offense most of all these teams that we've been talking about. I don't like their ability to move the ball. I like their red zone offense, though.
I can get behind that. I think that most people would pick Buffalo in the situation because Buffalo has the biggest upside with Josh Allen being the best quarterback, arguably, in the AFC, especially if Mahomes and Lamar hypothetically miss the playoffs, then Allen's the best quarterback in this conference by a mile. So I think that's the common approach for most people. I'll deviate. I'll pick Houston because I think if they would hypothetically play Denver in a game in Denver, I get it's an altitude, I get it's tricky. If you have a team that's built similarly to the 1 or the 2 seed in the conference, I think you can surprise some people.
Yeah,
some turnovers go your way. You know, Ryan's going to be very conservative for better or worse. He'll punt a lot, kick some field goals, whatever. If you can keep the game very low scoring, and I know they play in a dome, now you throw that defense outdoors, it's going to be tough to score more than 17 points against this team on a given game. Buffalo scored 19 in a dome against this defense. So my pick would be Houston.
All right, so Houston has the scariest team that we wouldn't want to face. That's basically that we'll call them a wild card. We'll call it
for the record. Their path sucks for the rest of the season. It is a very tough path for Houston.
Oh yeah.
But
I
we're assuming hypothetically the team that we're talking about gets in. Houston might not. That schedule is brutal, and you play Kansas City in Arrowhead next week, which is not fun. But I think Houston, if they would get in, is a team you don't want to see because that defense is what, top 2 in the league, top 3.
Yep.
So there you go.
I agree. Okay, going to the end of the NFC. We'll pivot this. We'll call it what the wild card teams are. Okay, I'm going to give you these options, and it has nothing to do with whether they're making it or not. But these are your options. You get the Niners, the Packers, the Seahawks, or the Cowboys.
Okay, well, once again, I'll toss out the Cowboys because I think they only get in there for division. I don't see them being a 7. So I'm not going to mention Dallas. Dallas is scary right now. They look a lot better, but they will not be a 7 seed. Either they win this division or they don't get in.
Well, call them a wild.
Yeah, a dark horse candidate. That's fine.
Yeah.
I still don't think that defense is very good, but Quinn Williams has helped out, and they made some trades that helped out. I mean, the Lions don't scare me at all. We both think they miss. Actually, that's our thoughts on the Lions.
Yep, that's why I didn't say them.
I mean, the Niners are injured to hell and back.
I didn't say the Lions.
I'm saying we're just saying we think the Lions miss. The Niners, I think, are too injured. It's fun to get in. No Fred Warner. You're going to trust Brock Purdy to not turn the ball over a ton. I mean, McCaffrey's yards per carry are a mess. He catches 8 passes a game, so it works out. But you've had a bunch of injuries. Ayuk's coming back, right? So they are going to get a receiver back in the fold at some point.
Ayuk's probably done his career as a Niner.
There were some rumors that he might potentially come back, so we'll see.
They voided his contract next year.
No, I know. I'm just saying, technically, with the knee, he could still, in theory, come back for.
They haven't opened up his practice window. So
I'm just mentioning his name because right now, with Pearsall being never being healthy, you got Juwan Jennings and basically Kittle. That's kind of all you have. So the Niners, I'll pass on. I think they're too injured, simply put. I think Green Bay is fascinating because everyone was so high on Green Bay earlier this season. Then everyone was down on them, and then they beat Detroit in Detroit. Do I think Jordan Love's good enough to win multiple playoff rounds? I don't know. But Micah Parsons is really, really good. And if I'm going to give Houston a chance based on that defense, Green Bay, I think, has got a shot. Like, I don't mind their weapons if Watson could stay healthy. Jacobs has not really been that good this season, and it hasn't mattered too much.
Yeah.
Green Bay, I think, could upset a team or two. But I'm looking through the rest. I mean, Seattle, I don't think they'll be the 7. I think they're too good to be the 7 personally. I know that technically it's still possible because the Rams might win that division. But do I trust Darnold in a playoff round? I do not. So I think Seattle's the best overall wild card team.
Well, we already know Seattle's ceiling. This is if they run into the Rams again.
Pretty much. But the question is, we've seen Darnold in a playoff game last year, and he no-showed it entirely. Once again, you mentioned the fact that opponent matters. I think Seattle's better than Green Bay, but you have a full game wrecker on defense in Parsons. I think I would pick Green Bay, as surprising as that sounds.
Really?
Yeah. I think you'd go Seattle.
Yeah. Well, no, I'd probably go Niners.
Really? Just for the experience element of it?
Yeah. It's because that you got to remember that team was like put together. That team was put together for this run in the way that they've been built. There's a lot of reasons. I'm not a Niners person, but like I've just watched a lot of teams that make runs, and I don't know, they got this. That team to me is just poised to kind of ceiling, even though all year we said we faded them to begin the year. We were like, oh yeah, and a lot of it was jokes, like 200-1 least wins, all this stuff. That team actually is not great, but it's not for the reasons that we thought. And they're succeeding despite all the things that we said were going to happen. They have no depth.
Yeah,
there are a lot of guys that Brock Purdy's probably overrated, and they don't.
Whether he's overrated or not, he's extremely overpaid.
He's extremely overpaid. That's what I'll call overrated. And they don't have wide receivers that we think can really make any plays. Like their best big play guy at this point is still Kittle, because CMC is like not.
And I don't mind Juwan Jennings, but he's 50 and a touchdown is the ceiling. That's kind of what he is at this point.
I think that's where the Shanahan stuff comes into play for me, of him being able to game plan and teach that team to win ugly. And I think that they might be able to do some damage.
Yeah, I think I'll push back a little bit just mentioning the actual competition or the actual wins that the Niners have. They have the random Thursday night win against the Rams. Great win with Mac Jones at quarterback with no wide receivers. Like, that's a phenomenal win. Besides that, I'll read off their games against good teams. Beat Seattle in week 1. So that came down to a red zone stop. Week 1, though, very early. Nice win, though. Besides that, played Tampa. They lost. Played Jacksonville. They lost. Played Houston. They lost. Played the Rams again. Got buried at home. Basically it. So, yes, they beat Seattle week 1, and they beat the Rams on a random Thursday, and that very just bizarre ending. My question for you is, in all the other step-up games they've had lately over the last month against good competition, they've been objectively bad. Like, reading off the wins recently, they beat Carolina, actually. So if you think Carolina's good, I guess you can argue that. But Carolina's a weird team that's around a division title, and their point differential is negative, so it's kind of tough to evaluate them. But they beat the Browns, the Panthers, the Cardinals, and the Giants, and the Falcons. That's their last 5 wins.
Spencer pointing out that that CMC still on pace for 1,000 rushing, 1,000 receiving, which is actually pretty incredible.
That is incredible. I'm pointing out the rushing yards are also based on volume, because the yards per carry are not very good. The point is the Niners, I do think without Bosa and without Warner, I just don't see them being able to get through a relatively deep NFC. But I do think the experience matters. But when the Niners are in a bit of a heater, and all their wins are against the Giants, the Cardinals, the Panthers, and the Browns, it's been a very easy schedule for the last month. That's my pushback. So I think the Niners are overrated.
Well, they've had a really easy schedule all season.
That's my point. I think they're overrated, and I think that eventually, against good teams, I just think Warner and Bosa are too good. I just don't know how you get past the depth in the NFC without your 2 best defensive players with an infirmary at wide receiver. I just don't know how you're going to pull that off.
No, that's fair. I guess then for me, the inability to take the Packers comes from
Jordan Love and
Jordan
LaFleur.
Yeah, and LaFleur. I think LaFleur's a cuck. That's what I've said that many times.
That's fair. So, once again, I'm not saying I think Green Bay's going to make it that far, but I do think with Parsons, if you have a full game record on defense, the offense, even without Kraft, the receiving core is not bad. You're going to see a bunch of ugly stats from receivers on a game-in, game-out basis. But there's a random explosion one game. We saw from Wicks on Thursday. Dobbs could have another game where he has a monster performance. Watson's the same way. They don't really go off at the same time, but they have a lot of guys you got to watch out for, which I think can make them dangerous in any one-game elimination spot.
Fair. All right, that's fair. I feel like we're on a crash course of them versus Seattle. Is what I feel like.
Well, right now, they might be wildcard teams, so they would not play each other, but...
No, but I mean, we'll see. Then I guess they both be wild card. They do that. Who wins Packers Rams?
I would still go Rams, but I actually think the game would be competitive.
So for people to know that where this entire conversation came from was us talking about how everyone says I can't wait to fade X team in the playoffs.
It was
It's
Denver.
basically
It was
every
Denver.
team.
I mean,
yeah, but it's every team except for the Rams.
The main takeaway is there's nobody that's really good. You could argue
Yeah.
the Rams are despite losing to Carolina, but the point is a lot of people are going around saying, well, this team looks like garbage. We're going to blindly fade this team. And you look at the rest of the field, and you don't feel great about any of the other teams. So you're kind of just stuck with a bunch of teams you don't feel great about, and somebody's got to win.
Nope, that makes complete sense. All right. So there you have it, guys. Everybody stinks except for the Rams, possibly the Packers, possibly Houston.
I'm not putting the Packers in the same category as the Rams, by the way, but for a team that I think could go on the road with a chance to shake some things up, I think Green Bay's got an overall good roster.
A good bet is probably exact elimination for these teams. Like pick one of those rounds and just do that now.
Mm-hmm.
If you think that that's resumed, kind of like on the Ravens, I did exact elimination. I did 7-1 AFC Championship.
I am rooting so hard for the Bengals to make the playoffs. Not even because of the fact that it's the Cinderella aspect. I can't stand watching the Ravens and Steelers play football.
It's not Cinderella. They got a 200. They also have a $200 million quarterback.
My point though is that they were 3-8, and now they're trying to make a playoff run.
I just really getting tired of
the Bengals are the most fun team in that division by a mile. So I hope they get in. Are they going to get in? Probably not. It's probably going to be Baltimore. But I'll ask you though to kind of wrap up the discussion though, as we mentioned the 7 seeds that can be dangerous. We talked about which teams might be the 1 or the 2 seeds in both conferences. I'll ask you right now, updated Super Bowl matchup pick. What do you got?
I have
the Rams probably in the NFC.
Yeah, Rams and
the AFC is so disgusting.
It's so disgusting because like my first inclination was to say Chiefs, who need to do so much work to get there, and I think
they're 2 games back, by the way, of the final wild card spot.
I know, and well, they need to do stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's probably for me
Buffalo, just for the sake of the upset.
Rams versus Buffalo. Yeah.
I still don't trust McDermott enough, so I can't take them. I don't like the Chargers. Daniel Jones' leg is snapped in half. I can't pick him.
I can't. So, all right. Well, then moving to wow, this game got so out of hand. I love it. All right. So now, let's talk about you and I have a UVA future on Saturday, and we're having a quick live discussion. This is our baby that we took right before they played Florida State in week 3, week 4.
Mm-hmm.
And it was perfect because they've run the table. My question to you, do we want to hedge with Duke? I thought about originally, yes, but I think
you were very confident. Well, you also saw 3.5 to be fair. You thought the line would drop.
No, now it's 3.5. Did you see it move the other way?
No, I'm saying initially when we talked about it, you thought it might go down to 3.
It moved back. It did move to 3.5. Yeah. So, I mean, this UVA team feels like it's got a season to believe vibe.
It does. Then again, the whole conference does because you have 7-5 Duke on the other end.
Well, but I mean, I guess in college, I feel like that matters. I don't know. I guess, can they beat them again? Or do you is this an obvious thing where would you hedge or what kind of, and again, you can't do is it life-changing money? Like you and I both have money and we both bet and it's fine. Yeah. It's just more of, is it worth it to hedge on this team? Because Duke needed all the help to get in there. They got smacked by UVA already. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you could always argue the classic cliche. It's very tough to beat a team twice in a season, especially in college. So maybe you think Duke's live. I think Mensah is the best quarterback in this matchup by a mile. I think Mensah's really, really good. So I think that could be dangerous in itself. Now, they played against Duke. They won 34-17. It wasn't a long time ago either. That was a couple weeks ago. Morris played well. He was 23 of 35, 2 picks, though. I mean, Duke only had 11 first downs. Virginia killed them in that game. They more than doubled their yard total. So, I mean, I'll ask you, you're the one who championed the entire idea of taking Virginia in the first place.
I love their defense. I think their defense is so nasty.
That's the counterpoint is Duke's defense stinks.
So we're not hedging.
I don't think we are. I mean, you can always argue, mid-game, things change, we'll go from there. But I think Duke's 7-5 for a reason. I mean, Duke was 5-5 2 weeks ago.
They also, by the way, went to Duke and did this damage.
That's what I'm saying. They doubled their yardage at Duke. Duke had 11 first downs. And
This
I am mentioned
that was the down spot too on the schedule. Like that was where it was going to cave.
Duke was 5-5, beat Belichick's North Carolina, who stinks, by the way. Didn't make a bowl game.
Barely.
Yeah. And they ended up beating Wake Forest.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I don't think Duke
they
really
beat them they beat North
impressive.
Carolina. They beat North Carolina 32-25. I think they were and they needed to, let's see, I just want to, I'm looking at the play-by-play. They needed to just, first of all, they were down until the final 2 minutes.
Yeah.
North Carolina. And then they scored to win. Yeah, we're not hedging.
I don't think we are. That's kind of the takeaway that I had there.
Yep. I think we're just going to ride that. All right. Well, I'm glad we came to this conclusion. So this will be good. All right. So Scott, here's the other question. Are we going to get evil pie pizza again with Noops?
Only at 3 a.m. It comes down to Noops, honestly. If Noops wants to get it, we'll go for the journey. But it might be our thing though. Like if we can't go to evil without Noops. That's the entire.
I can't go at all. Well, he and I are staying at the same hotel, of which I'm going to upgrade to a room that has like 2 beds in case you're like, I'm not going back to my place. I'm crashing at yours, and that's fine. And what's great is that the hotel doesn't even have a gym or a pool. It gives you a pass to go to another hotel to use their gym and their pool, which is hilarious.
Nice.
So, but yeah, Noops is like, yeah, we got to get pizza. I don't know if I can get a tux in time, but we should wear wet. But I told you guys, the rodeo's in town. We got to be wearing those. I'm sure we'll find trouble to get into downtown in 3 days that we're there, especially all day college football. We should probably do an all day parlay, like Texas Tech.
Oh, we'll throw in some random college basketball stuff in there too.
I know, but an all day conference championship.
No, I know. I'm saying like we'll get crazy with it.
That'll be bomb. All right, This is good. This is a mini episode. We had some fun. You guys realize that the NFL has mostly crappy teams, and we are not hedging our UVA futures. Scott, tell everybody where they can find you when you're not with me.
Yep, find me on Twitter at Reichel Radio. You could find us on the Propcast for SGPN. Well, we do a show 3 times a week, so check that out. Also, a reminder that once again on Twitter, Reichel Radio, it's on the screen, and I'll be in Vegas with Adam. So if you are in Vegas too, and you want to see us and Noops, then you know where to go. We'll be at Circa.
I agree. Seeing Noops is kind of the biggest thing. All right. So Spencer, who are our producers, at Spencer_Ray. I'm at Hey Rosenberg. Hall of Fame Bets. Use it, guys. It helps keep our pod in existence using code DADS. And Scott, because CJ's not here, you get the final word. So what is the final word?
Does it have to be one word or can it be like a phrase?
It can be anything. So the final word is?
It is Troy over cashes in overtime.